Yeah, that works.
Okay. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Jeff. We're back.
Yes, we're
We're
back.
both from adventures.
So we did, and you went to a place where the sun continued to follow you, and promptly kept turning goblins to stone. Um,
Well, it wasn't that bad until we got back here.
here was the worst.
Yeah, I
Without
stopped in
a doubt.
Pueblo on the way back. There's a little bakery there that I'd like to go to.
What?
Yeah, they have really good fucking snickerdoodles. Yes,
What else they have?
everything. Yeah, it's like,
You know the name of this place?
oh yeah, but I don't want to say it out loud. So
Okay, well, tell me later because I'd like to.
yeah, no, it's pretty good. And next time I go down there, you can put it in order. So I've never tried
So,
their bear claws, so I might have to do that next time.
kind of a cowardly thing for you to do. Did you just not have the calories in the day left for?
No, no. I mean, I
Is
don't
that
count
not the
those, but
concern?
like mine's not like a number; it's like a red line.
Oh,
It's like the engine doesn't sound right,
okay.
man.
It's like, why would you walk by them? Like,
But it was like 103 there. It was oppressively hot.
jeez,
So, but like, no, I was in New Mexico for a bit. It was fine. So,
80s?
yeah, mid
Okay.
80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it in Denver?
Um, I think it was about 96 for most of the day, 95, 96, right around there. There's a brief period between the hours of, say, uh, like 10 to about noon, where it's, like 78 and climbs to that.
Oh yeah.
But then once it gets to midday, 12, 1 o'clock, it's going to hit that temperature
It's
and then
done preheating.
stale, and it's just like, well, and I could like watch it happening in real time. Like, we saw, clouds coming over the horizon and just turning into mist in
These
real
are
time.
literally boiling off. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so the upper atmosphere was like really humid and shit, but none of that was impacting what was on the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
And so in New Mexico,
It
I
actually
presume
rained in New Mexico.
New Mexico's elevation is lower than Colorado's. Yes,
I don't know.
I'm not entirely sure. I never looked.
I was in Taos, and I think it's maybe a little bit lower, but not a lot.
Okay, all right.
And then we were in Durango, and that's about the same as here. I want to say
Durango's
it's
the same.
maybe
Yeah,
about six
yeah,
thousand, something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was hotter there than it was in New Mexico. So I don't know. It was just different. So, but
Look, I'm
dude,
glad that it was cooler for you in Mexico than it was here. Anytime that
it
someone gets a
was,
reprieve from,
yeah. Today was fucking hot.
it
So
is impressive. And when I was, I don't know. I don't know if walking around like shirtless actually made things hotter or cooler. It's hard to say.
yeah, no, I can't. I can't do that anymore, man. So, I get sunstroke so easy. So like, so my wife bought me these like ultra thin, like long sleeve shirts. It's almost like they're almost like silk, but I think they're polyester. So
That sounds way hot.
no, actually, it's really cool. So
That can't be polyester. The polyester doesn't
it's not
breathe.
cotton. I don't know what it is, but they're just like paper thin. So and they're like perfect for like sunny days for me.
Really?
Well, yeah, because otherwise they get my arms get all fucked up. I mean, I'm coming to that point, Jeff, where they're gonna start cutting bits off of me. But yeah, no, and so I wore those around for 3 days, and they were great, So
Yeah.
I didn't have to sit there and like last time I went to a baseball game a little while ago, and
It
I
wasn't covered.
wasn't covered,
Yeah.
fucking spritzed the shit out of my eyeballs. So
Good.
that stuff's fucking it's like rat poison.
Doesn't feel great. I mean,
No,
it's weird where you're kind of like, well, I'm gonna die of cancer, but it smells like strawberries.
right?
It's
Yeah, I
just.
think I think mine was mango. So
I'll tell you this. I do like the smell of sunblock for some reason. There's
Sunblock?
something.
Oh,
Well,
did
you're
you
not.
use a spray or did
You
you?
use
Yeah,
the
yeah,
spray.
okay, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's all it is. It's all sunblock. So,
yeah. It's all sunblock. Yeah,
but I
yeah.
do like the scent of it. Even the crap you just squeeze out of the banana tube is still.
That's I remember that as a
So,
kid. Yeah, that and copper tone.
Coppertone smelled like a
Medicine.
little bit. Yeah, it smelled a little bit like medicine. There was still something to it that was like if you had a Coppertone like marker, it wouldn't
Oh
have.
yeah, I remember those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have an actual like scent to it. It wouldn't say
Mm-mm.
like, watermelon or whatever. It would just say Coppertone. It smells like
Yeah, it
Coppertone.
was like you didn't buy it by flavor, you bought it by SPF, if I
Yeah.
recall. Back in the days, you're like, oh yeah, anything over SPF 50, you're a pussy, kind
Oh
of
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
This,
And now it's like, even the spritz is like SPF 1,000. You know?
I know. Well, it's the same. It's the same thing. Dude, we came from a different.
That's
It's
true.
just it's the same thing. It's like batting gloves. You need to protect your hands from
Mhm.
wood, and you
Oh
go
yeah,
out there and
exactly.
swing it. 50 balls, and you're like down to bone
Right.
as
Yeah,
far as the
exactly. Yeah.
skin's being worn away. You know where I'm pointing right here is
Oh
right
yeah,
here at that
the little meaty part.
yeah, right here at that, and basically one of these pads
Stripped.
under the ring would be just stripped
Stripped.
clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, eventually you bought these things and you were seen as a fancy pants. So then you're just kind of like, you hit a lot better. Same thing goes with being the first person on the block to wear gloves, or not gloves, but a helmet on your bike, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, my
Um,
parents made me do that.
yeah,
There was one semester, I think my first semester of junior high, I rode my bike to school, and it was mandatory.
yeah.
So my mom was like, "Absolutely not." So because when I was in elementary school, I used to ride my bike to school all the time. So
I presume it was fine because it's just like, what's it,
it's just 6
at the
blocks.
top
Yeah,
does
I
it
know.
go?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
And I imagine you had a conundrum at that point from where you were. Like, did it not seem counterproductive to just walk the bike up the rest of that hill, or did you just get on there and start
you
pedaling like a
just
lunatic?
bang it out, man.
Uh,
Yeah.
did you at least have like a multi-geared bike at that point
I
to
had a
make it easier?
Huffy. Yeah,
Okay,
I had
all
a
right,
little
well,
Huffy.
shit.
Dude, I
So,
was I was like what, 65 pounds soaking wet. So I mean, it wasn't, you know,
okay, so I understand that you're not moving a bodybuilder up the fucking road, but
no.
still, like, people don't get it. This hill is steep, especially for bikes, and
Well, when I was a kid, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember them building that walk path, the sidewalk that goes up to the school past that gray house up there. When I first started riding my bike, that wasn't there. That was dirt.
that was just dirt.
Yeah, it was dirt, and it had all these cool fucking jumps and shit.
Okay.
So the
Um,
whole point of riding my bike to school wasn't to get myself there faster. It was to have fun on the way.
well, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I was like, because so would people walk the street before then,
Oh yeah.
or okay?
Yeah. He's
So
just
I'm
walking the street.
I'm 2 grades behind you, so I can't tell. So you would have started going to school. Well, shit, never mind. You had already been in school for 2 years, like
This
my
would have
brother
been like
did. Yeah. So,
1985.
well, 85 was when I first started going to school
So it
because
would have been 83 or 84 because I went to kindergarten there.
that's got to be it. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Well, 83? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
I guess
probably
I
when
can
I
believe
started.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, they built that, I don't know, when I was maybe in third grade or fourth grade.
Well, I would have been there.
Yeah. So
But I don't remember walking a dirt path to.
it used to be the dirt. Yeah. Because they had
I
the,
mean, I for sure believe it, but
well, they had the, like, I don't know if there's, but they had those two utility boxes, the big steel ones.
the ones with
They had a
the.
jump where you could jump over those. So,
Okay, yeah, that,
yeah,
that that I
okay.
can for sure
Yeah.
believe. I just don't remember the jump. Um, and I'm sure that you could still jump those from the sidewalk if you wanted, but
Yeah, it was more fun coming down the hill.
Oh,
So
most
yeah,
certainly, yeah,
most certainly.
yeah, yeah.
So, but then the whole fields up there were full of like little bike paths and stuff, and you could go all the way down. This is before they built that trail all the way in there. You could go all the way down to North Carefree. So on those bike paths.
Well, those were still around for years,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah.
I think in some well, I mean, this house is in the way now, but
Yeah, there's apartments and hospitals and all kinds of shit now.
Jesus, like I think if you wanted to at that time, I think this may be sort of a mixed memory or not, but I can tell you that the gas station on that corner used to be a Vickers,
Yep,
and I think you could see it from there if you got up on the highest enough point.
you could.
I think you could.
You could see the roof of it. Yeah, we used to go down there and buy candy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I had a couple of friends that lived sort of near there,
okay.
and they taught me a little bit of something about having a single parent and economics, where
Um,
it very so Vickers. Um, I'm not saying that this is not. We're still a high trust society, but Vickers used to stack 12 packs of soda just outside
yep,
the window,
yeah,
and
doink.
those boys would frequently just walk off with one of them
Yeah,
on a regular basis. And it was just sort of a. I remember you explained this to me once when the first time that you went back to Manhattan with your dad,
mhm.
where he was a civilized man here when it came to like crossing streets and shit. But when he was in Manhattan, it
Fucking
was just,
psychopath.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's just no announcement, you just go, right?
he didn't jaywalk, but I mean, he like it was one of those things where you know, like I mean,
The light's a suggestion.
the light is kind of a suggestion, but you don't cross in the middle of the street. That's still kind of a no-no. So,
People
but
do it.
people do it, but all the streets are one way, so you just look and huff it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah.
So,
And so, in the same way that these boys were just speaking a different economic language
right.
of what they're reading, there was no like moral quandary about it. It's just
Uh-uh.
this is just what we do.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I used to have, there was a buddy of mine in my Cub Scout troop, or pack, whatever we called them, who lived on that street at the bottom of the hill. So going down like sledding hill from the school,
sure, yeah,
he
yeah,
lived down there, and so like that whole area where that fucking hospital is now, that was all bike jumps and
everything,
everything.
yeah, yeah, everything, everything. It was
This was back when Powers was still fucking 2 lanes,
there wasn't any real sign of civilization until
man.
Kmart.
Lyman.
Well, well, like once you got to Kmart,
Yeah.
which was, and you knew it because this was all outside of like county property,
Oh
which
yeah.
is why they built out of there.
That's where everybody used to take their dirt bikes.
Yeah,
So yeah. No, I was actually driving up Powers the other day, man. I hadn't done that trip in a little bit.
it's just city.
It's all city.
It's all
It's
city.
all
It's
city
all
now. And like the Kmart is still there, but it's like a gym now.
it's
So
something, and it'll
yeah.
be something else in 6 months too.
I don't know, man. The parking lot was fucking jammed. And so I don't know. Maybe they're doing pickleball there. I have no idea.
Yeah, bro. There's a dedicated pickleball. It's over there. Actually, that's right. It's over on.
Yeah, I think there is one.
There is.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's near the bank.
Okay.
I think that's where I
Yeah.
saw it. Because you were the first person to teach me that term, but
Oh, pickleball?
yeah,
I still don't know how you
honestly,
play it. So
well, I didn't even know it was a thing.
it is a thing. It is a thing.
Um,
So
yeah, that's pretty wild. But
speaking of Vickers and old gas stations, driving through some of these little towns in Colorado, almost all of them still have a Sinclair, and they almost all have a fucking dinosaur still too.
yeah,
That's crazy,
yeah,
man. Yeah.
they're not quite in. They're not. It's not the same place. So those are not the truck stop style
Nope. No,
gas
no, no,
stations.
no.
Yeah,
It's got like 5 pumps, so it's got an ice machine out front. Yeah,
ice machine
yeah.
out front. It's not. It's not the places between here and North Dakota where it's like all right, I'm passing through here, but this is a main road. So I'm passing through a gas station that has two senators and a representative,
Yeah, four car washes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So sovereignty.
and you're like, man, this really is a fucked up representation system. These guys have way more power than you
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
than some dude in Orange County. Like, all right, no, I gotcha. But yeah, it was kind of wild. So I hadn't. Um, I remember just recalling my history with this place when I went up to the fucking water park because like I've been here, but I haven't been inside because
Hmm.
when I tried to go here, I was just recalling this with William. I was like, I totally forgot about this. Like we tried to go here, we skipped a day of school and all booked it up here. So this must have been like 97, 98, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you've
And
been driving.
yeah, we went up there and the place was just they were closed for the day,
Oh,
and it wasn't anything special. It was just something that they were closed. It had
yeah.
a sign. I don't remember why. What I remember got pissed, so I'm just like standing outside the gate, and I fucking kicked over a Denver Post machine, and then we just like screwed around Denver for most of the day. But I was like, I've never actually been in this park, and um, I gotta say, Will is not. He's not exactly Banisakian when it comes to.
You
Uh,
are.
it's a mania that is res ipsa loquitur, man. The existence of the thing is all the evidence of the thing that you need. It's not quite. We have to squeeze every minute, but it's close.
Yeah.
And uh,
Oh, yeah. I'm 100% the opposite.
well, and it's also met with um, there is still that version of him where it's it's the best way I can say this. I used to know dudes who would go to the Renaissance Festival every year.
Oh, yeah. My
Right?
my 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 wife and daughter are planning on going here like next week.
Okay. All right.
So they go every year.
Go every year. All right. So at this point, I presume that they have at this point because they've been there so many times. They have a spoken or unspoken. I don't know what it is, but they probably have a. We typically get here at this time,
Yeah.
which means we're going to park right around here.
Yeah.
We park right around here. We're going to make this pathway. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like it's not going to be the sense of like let's wander until we find something to do. We have a hit list, right?
Yeah.
Of this, and this. We're going to break for lunch here. This, and this. We're going to do this, and then it's going to be time to leave, right? And they will done that. And Will has a little bit of that going on in him, because that's partially like uh, I like these things,
Yeah, sure.
right? So in the same time, it's also so be here by this time because we want to be out of here by this time. We want to park here at this time. We're going to do this. We're going to break at this time. Blah 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 blah. And it's not as though so. It wasn't that it was immensely frustrating or anything like that. Still had a lot of fun. I drove the teenage boys up, which was a hoot. It was really good kids. Um, and had a lot of fun talking to those guys. But uh, there's this thing of whatever it is that you're doing out there, plus that temperature was just something that just me being coupled with I don't want to say completely socially withdrawn. That's not entirely accurate, but less social interaction by choice
Yeah,
over the
sure.
years.
Yeah.
Um, where that coupled with the sun, right?
This is a bad combination. Yeah.
It's weird because like
And then being on a schedule. Yeah.
well, if you remember. So if you remember playing Star Wars Galaxies, and I don't remember, so this is the
At
weird.
tents. Mission boards.
There's that. Um,
Do missions.
if you recall this, and I don't know, I was before they changed it. I think it got different, but there were three, essentially 3 meters to your health, right?
Yeah.
One was like hit points, just like physical hit points. One was like mental, which was like to mind attacks or things that could be attacked on that
Okay.
level. And there was a third one. I don't remember what it
I
was,
don't either.
but there was a third. Maybe it was like a just
Wasn't it like a poison one or something?
like a poison one,
Yeah,
or it could have been like just like a general stamina gauge for doing
it might have been.
something like that. But there was something to that where the combination of those two things was really like it totally cashed my both physical and mental bars. So
Just running on fumes. So.
when I got back, like I couldn't go to bed right away. There were like a number, so I got a shower, I got to take care of things from when I was missing and all that stuff. But when I hit the deck, I was out. I got up, I went to work, I slept during work, I slept after, and even the day after, I'm like, God, I'm still exhausted.
Yeah,
Now I did shit, and I still like lift the weights and all that other stuff, but still I'm like, fuck, man. Like it's either my brain or my body that are just still like sleepy.
yeah.
And it sounds
No,
like you had a little bit of that too.
yesterday, absolutely. Today, yeah, a little bit of that too.
Wow.
We don't really run on a schedule though. I mean, so what we've always done, and we haven't gone on that many trips as a family, but like my wife and I have over the years, and we always have this like one kind of rule of thumb is like, okay, if we're gone for like 4 days,
Yeah.
or something like that, you plan something that you want to do each day, but that's one thing. Okay, yeah.
Right.
And that means like there's no like no pressure, hey, we got to get up at 6:30 so we can hit blah blah blah. It's like, no, you sleep until we're done sleeping, because that's not actually, we can do that in the afternoon, or like in this case, we had a couple of things that were, but it was like later in the day.
Yeah.
And I mean, so we just spent most of the time wandering. Yeah. It's like, huh, what's over here? So yeah, oh, found this great like soft serve ice cream place,
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
we found this awesome pizza joint that made like real Italian style pizza, kind of thing. I ate like, I think, what was the best breakfast burrito I've ever had in my
Mm-hmm.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have found it if we like actually had tried to plan shit out.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I've always been like that on vacation.
Well,
So
I think there are some people that I can't tell you when this tipped over, and maybe it was when maybe you were like this when you started doing a lot of just traveling.
yeah.
Um, there are a lot of people that see sleeping in a vacation place as some kind of heresy.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I am not. I am not of that persuasion. So
Yeah, where it's like, well, no, I slept somewhere else, man. That is the vacation.
that is the vacation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, man, and I do. I love sleeping in hotels for some reason. I sleep like the dead, and
Done
so
it a
yeah.
bunch. Yeah. Sometimes it's really nice. Sometimes look, and I also understand that there's two versions of that. Um, obviously, I mean, I didn't bring my family to any of these things, but there's also this version of it where it's like, yeah, yeah, it's like, well, it's not my electricity.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what I'd like to do is I'd like to have like four of the biggest blankets that you have, please, and I want icicles coming off the
Yeah.
ceiling.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's sort of the part of the appeal to it. Um, but yeah, there's something cool about that, especially when you didn't drive this one, did you?
Oh yeah.
You did? Okay.
I drove the whole thing, man. So it was. Uh, let's see. There was driving on just about every day.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
Ranging from anywhere from, I'd say, 3 to 6 hours.
I argue that's part of the hotel experience, man, is the I find the driving part to be that's one of those Star Wars Galaxies drains.
The driving
It
absolutely
kills
drains
the
me. Yeah.
boredom. Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
no, I've got about, like, I pushed it one day. So the first day we drove all six,
yeah,
and we made like two stops, just short stops, not like, hey, let's get some lunch kind of stops, but yeah, there's a gas station, let's go get
yeah,
some snacks kind
yeah. Go stretch your
of thing. Go stretch your legs, kind of thing. But that six is about an hour past my range, where like five is like I'm done. You know,
Five is you're done. Every hour past five,
it's overtime.
you can do it,
Yeah.
but it drains at a faster
Right.
exponential
Yeah,
rate.
exactly.
Yeah.
Starting to cut into your stamina rating. Yeah. You
Well,
know?
big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
So,
always a pull on it, but
right.
it's not. It's you
That's like
don't.
losing hearts.
Yeah, yeah.
You
You
know?
don't look at and see it. You don't see like tank and think I've got another five
No,
hours,
you don't.
right?
Mm.
This thing's gonna start chugging.
It's gonna stop here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So no, I mean, and that's just me, man. I mean, like,
Ain't just you.
well, I know, but ages ago, man. I mean, an 8 or a 10 hour trip was like, all right, let's do it, kind of thing.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
crack the knuckles and
just crack
yeah.
knuckles, get her done. So I get myself a Wyoming Red Bull and a pack of Camels, and we'd be good.
Pack of camels. Yep, yep.
But now, no, now I'm definitely, it's like 5 hours, and by the time we hit 5 hours, we had 50 minutes to go. I was like, all right, just do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, but the poison was in my veins at that point in
No,
time.
you have to tough it out.
Just have
Yeah.
to tough it out. Yeah. So, but no, I mean, so it was a lot of driving, but it was good. We ate really well. So,
Yeah.
but I will say that, if you go to any place that's so much touristy now, fucking food is expensive. I mean, it is
Oh yeah.
stupid expensive, man. So, I mean, I don't think we had a single meal between the three of us that was less than $50.
Totally
So,
understand.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
even at a breakfast joint. So,
Well, so also that's the thing is I'm trying to get back here and Will's like no, we always stop for food in Castle Rock and
why? You want to go to the good McDonald's?
now to be there is a Shake Shack in Castle Rock
Oh, yeah.
and that place is fantastic.
Shake Shack is very good. So,
I spent $30
oh, yeah.
for me. Now I'll say
It
this.
is, it is, it is, it is spendy.
Well, so here's the thing is I took home a burger and a chicken sandwich because I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna be here again. There are multiple things on this menu that I want to try here,
Yeah.
and what I really want here is they have this picture of these fucking fries up there. I'm like, I want these fries.
The crinkle cut ones?
Well, it's not just the crinkle cooked ones. They bury it in like burger stuff and onions
Oh, okay.
and cheese and all this other stuff. I'm like, I want those. But I'm not coming to this place, and I'm not. So if
Oh,
I
I
leave
see.
without
Yeah.
a shake, and if I leave without a sandwich or something, this is going to be weird. So I'm like, all right, give me all this. I'm going to eat this and this here. If you can box that stuff up here, it's like yeah, $32. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
So these are your rates, sir. I understand.
Yeah, prices are clearly posted,
Yeah,
So I'll give you 24 for it,
I wish. Well, actually, no, I don't want to haggle with people.
No, not for food.
I don't want to haggle with people, um, but yeah. So it's just like no. We always stop here. I'm like, so I just well, it's just like I want to release the person sitting my dog, and I
Yeah.
also that's the other thing is we didn't stop for uh we didn't stop for hot caffeine injections. I'm like,
Oh,
so I mean, this is
mandatory on any road trip.
well,
Mandatory.
this is the thing is like I understand that you're doing this to kind of wake yourself up, but I don't know about you, but eating a big meal after a bunch of exercise isn't the kind of thing that gets my stamina, uh,
Mm.
up and running again. It's like I'm running on empty here, son. Um, so I was like, all right, well, no, this is a family thing you do. But then again, that's also that same thing is like,
It's fine.
well, it's not just fine, but it's also part of that mentality of like we have this tradition. This is how we do things. This is like, yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it. This is very Jemadar-esque of you. That is, I am the second. He is the first. That is the order of things. And I'm like, all right, no, that's fine. And you know what? The I'm here having a great time off of your ticket anyway. So I mean, it's like, come on, man, it's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can be grumpy about this stuff later, but again, it's like what am I asked to be grumpy about? I still had like a super fun day. It's just I'm fried. Like, and again,
Yeah.
fortunately, and thank God for this. You were here when Will was giving me like the that health hazards where it's kind of like stay 7 feet away from the raptor enclosure, whatever. Where he's kind of like you're gonna want to you're gonna want to have this. And I didn't quite get the Muldoon, but I bought a hat that is brimmed and actually has
It's
like
got the flap.
yeah, it had like a flap.
Nice.
And as I'm walking into the place, I'm like, look like an extra retard. But
Nobody
there's
cares, man. So then you go on a place and it's 85% cellulite anyway. Yeah.
I was surprised actually. I
No?
was I was pleasantly surprised at uh, how well most people weren't shaved. Now, of course, there were
Oh yeah.
some manatees out there with them little feet, but for the most part, a lot of people were in super good shape. All of the it's crazy that the the staff at Waterworld all looked like fucking fitness models and shit. I'm like, this is crazy.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, that's nice to know.
yeah, yeah,
I don't remember it being there, but I got to be honest with you. I probably haven't been there since. I think Pam and I went once, like maybe the first year or two that we were married.
yeah.
We went to Elitch's once too. So, but those are the last times that I've been there. So it's been a minute. So
And Elitch is still open.
yeah, I did see that last time I went up there to a baseball game. I was like, huh, roller coasters are running, huh? Cool.
Yeah. So definitely a great time. Lots of fun. Glad I had the chance. Don't know if I'll do it again. Just not that I didn't have a good time. It's just like, fuck, man, this is like 2 days of recovery. So I did not expect it to
Yeah.
be this way.
Yeah.
Um, but same thing. It's weird because so Marina insists. So when I went over there and
Mhm.
she's just kind of like, what kind of trip is this? I'm like, well, I get on a plane, I go here, and then I come back. It's just like this is not nearly enough time. It's like make it enough, right? But I guess she's just like, well, I have you for this many days, right?
Right. Yeah.
I've done the math.
Yeah.
So um, if you start the day in these single digit hours, uh, um, um, and go until these hours, we will get in this, and this one. And we're going to have to drive from here to here, so that's a bit of a hike, and we're going to go here on this day. So it was very much that same. Uh, well, wheels up at this time.
Right. Yeah.
Activities start
Yeah.
here. Yeah, we're going to keep the itinerary like this, and
Got a schedule. Chop chop. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something. I don't think so. If I'd have scheduled 2 fucking weeks out there, I feel like every
Probably
day
would have
would have
been the
been the
same.
same
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
exactly. There's not going to be a day where you just sit on our back deck and fucking doom scroll on your phone.
Well,
You
those
know?
well, those were the evenings, right? So
Yeah.
it was the whole thing. It was like, well, you didn't budget for this. Is um me being close buddies with you and your husband and this like hit show too. So like we get back here at like 9 or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Okay, we're gonna stay up another 4 or 5 hours just sitting at the table just like bullshitting, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So um I guess that's part of the equation. Like I don't know. So I guess that's the thing is when I have these people out here, I guess the itinerary is like, oh, we can go to Fargo's if you want.
Yeah. Sure. Why not?
Like, if you don't want to, it's like, we'll just grab one of these chairs and just like hang out.
Yeah.
That's fine. Or, um, I don't know if it's going to be like, well, let me show you. If you had somebody here for a couple of days that
Mhm.
had never been here,
Yeah.
right? Are there 3 things maybe that you'd want
Sure.
them to see? What would
Yeah.
those be? What would you pick?
Oh, we go down to Manitou and wander around because it's a good place to find knick-knacky bullshit.
All right, you would
Uh,
consider that?
while we're there, you might as well drive up to the top of the peak, because if you haven't seen it, it is kind of special.
I didn't even
So,
consider that
yeah,
either. I was going to start with like I would think of all things in terms of just absolutely stunning and unique geographic locations. You
Garden
have
of
to see
Gods.
Garden of the
Yeah,
Gods.
but you drive past that, to get down to Manitou. So, I mean, it's like one of those things. Well, do you want to get out and wander around? Okay, let's do that. I mean, it's not that big. You know?
I
I
think
mean, you can make it big if you want to.
I think you can
It's,
spend 6 hours there
you
at
can
least.
easily spend
Uh,
that, but you can also spend 10 minutes there too. You know, um, so it's like the rocks. They're very pretty rocks. We'll get a couple pictures and we'll walk around them for a few minutes. But I,
See, that's the weird thing. All right, so maybe it was because I did take those geology courses. You did too, didn't you?
I took a lot of geology.
Yeah. So there's this part of like, so I the tour starts here. It's like I want you to picture this. It's like
Before the seas drink
right
Atlantis.
this area.
This area.
Picture this was all underwater.
Right.
Right now we have two big uh two big forces at work here.
Mhm.
Right. So it's not just that this was underwater, but we also have these plates, and they're pushing this area.
Right, right, right.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to sort of tell the story of all this stuff, and you walk around these it's in some ways you're kind of like you've got this formation that has no earthly business being here,
Right.
and that there's something to this. You're walking around, you're like, okay, so those are regular mountains, they're not that far, we just see those too.
Yeah, yeah,
These are not like those because this was underwater.
yeah. This is different.
That's 14,000 feet up in the sky.
Yeah.
This was underwater.
Right.
So I'm going to take you to these places. I'm going to show you.
Yeah. No, see, that wouldn't occur to me, man. Yeah. So be like, hey, we're gonna drive by him. Cool. Let's go to Manitou for a little bit. If like you want to stop, we can stop because this isn't on a timetable. You know.
We're going to keep walking until I can show you. It's like, those are mountains, but do you see this? This is an impression
Right.
of sea life
Sea life. Yeah.
that was left here in the stone. This is sedimentary.
No, I wouldn't care. If somebody wanted to do it, that's great. But I mean, that for me, that's maybe a 10-15 minute stop.
Well,
So
five
yeah.
driving past it, five maybe at the Git shop if you want something
Oh,
fucking
no, we'll go
tchotchke.
down. We can get tchotchke or shit 6 blocks down. So
But
yeah,
that's different tchotchke shit. It's like, look, so we're gonna stop here because you want like postcards or a Zippo with fucking Garden of Gods on it.
you're gonna be able
Um,
to find that in Old Colorado City.
but in Old Colorado City and Manitou, you're gonna want to buy a shirt with a lady and a wolf on it.
Or 3 wolves and a moon.
Do you do you guys have dream catchers where you live?
Oh my gosh, yeah. All the dream catchers. So yeah, so if I had like 3 days with somebody here, I'd plan a day where we kind of like, okay, let's go explore around. And then if there was anything that they really liked, be like, okay, well, we got more of that, so let's go do some more of that. But then there would always be a day. It was like, well, let's just, fucking, let's go over to the store and get some steaks and grill them up, or something like
Oh,
that.
okay, I can see that
You
too.
know,
Yeah, yeah. This is the food of my people.
this is the food of my people.
That's funny too, because yeah, in the same way, it's like, oh, what would you serve? Like, well, the Asian market is over there,
Yeah, that's pretty
so
close.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive over there. Um, I'm going to uncork 2 canisters of kimchi, and
Right? Yes. Buy something with a few tentacles.
and that shit, yeah, it's true. Like,
Andy.
and that's the thing. Like when you go, you know, they have kind of like cleaned up the packaging of like what kimchi comes in the 80s or so when all the Koreans made it themselves and then buried it in the
Yeah.
backyard. It really was. It's like, so it's like, can you go get me some of the kimchi? It's like, yeah, make sure that you bring a screwdriver so you can get the lid open.
Oh yeah.
It's like you're opening a paint can. Um, Sometimes they were served in like buckets.
My dad used to get it in mason jars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Because sometimes, depending on how much you were going to make, you'd put it in a jar or,
yeah.
yeah. Honestly, my mom would use like wasn't a Home Depot bucket because we weren't a Home Depot town for a long time.
No.
It was what, Ace Hardware? What was the
True value. Yeah.
was that the
I don't remember.
I remember. I mean, there were like two. One of them was downtown, and it had 2 levels.
There was one right over by Academy over here. That was a True Value. It had two
Was it True
levels.
Value?
Yeah,
Okay.
it had a basement. That's where all the tools were. So if I recall,
And if I recall,
it
the
had a lumber
stairs
yard
were in
next to
the
it.
back of
They
the.
were, yeah.
So that was the place, and those are some of the hazy memories I
That's
know.
old school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's back in this is Montgomery Ward's days.
Well, this
You
was
know.
back in the day when we had actual. People aren't going to believe this, but there were stores dedicated to toys
Oh yeah. Yep.
that weren't like
KB.
Toys R Us.
Yeah, Toys R Us.
Well, they
Lionel's
weren't like
Play
this.
World.
Well, even before that, so before those places took over, there were a couple of places that were like 2 room shops, essentially like the
Oh yeah.
same way that, and a lot of times they crossed over with like hobby shit.
Kind of. There was one on
There'd be a train place or a train section.
yeah, there was a great toy store over on Austin Bluffs. You know where Dickie's Barbecue is, right
I
there?
do. Yeah.
So it used to be called, I think it was some Camel or something like that, but it was a 2 room fucking toy store, and those were the ones that you could get amazing toys there, so that you could not get anywhere else. You know, like they would be the first ones to carry like the new Lego series and stuff like that. You know,
Weren't those guys also like importers? Didn't they
something
also?
like that, man. So they had a sign in their front window, big Lego sign.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
this is in the '80s, man. You know,
Well,
where
yeah.
Legos were like, oh wow, where'd you get those? You know, kind of thing. Yeah,
Well, you're right because you could get Legos at the toy store,
you could
but it was
in a bucket.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's weird. People do. It's strange that uh, there's sort of like this. Lego is not like in a bad place. Obviously, they're in a
mm.
financial place where they do well, preying on people our age.
They prey on everybody, Jeff.
Well, okay, so there's this sort of like backlash where they're like, so take that what was it? What was it that you built like the Hogwarts set with your daughter?
I have, but all three of us built that.
Okay,
It is I think it was something ridiculous. It was a $600
okay.
fucking Hogwarts castle.
So there's this backlash against that where they say that this is kid shaped, but it can't be designed for kids, right?
It is decidedly not designed for kids.
And there are people that argue that this is sort of against the spirit of what a children's toy should do. I guess there's this part of me that says like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, who the fuck cares? Buy the kids sets then.
Well,
There's plenty of
I
them.
haven't looked for that. Do they have just like I don't want to say loser kid sets, but basically
Dude, they
just
still
like
have
the
Duplos for crying out loud.
yeah.
So, dude, they have all kinds of sets. I mean, they have ones that are just like, they have like not just the Lego guys, but they have these taller ones now that are almost like human shaped, kind
Oh,
of thing. And they all like the way that we used to play with the Legos is how you would use those now. Okay, because like you can sit like split into like city, town, village, blah blah blah.
okay. Yeah.
And so they're all kids based set. And every set has a couple hundred pieces, but like that Hogwarts set was ridiculous. It had like 5,000 fucking pieces.
Right.
So, and it took us a week to build it, So that's that, but that, okay. So, but the basic, like, you don't have to change the machines in order to
Well,
use different Legos, man.
okay. So
You
yeah,
just, it's all marketing.
like I remember people threw a shit fit about there was this, and this was 10 years ago, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what it would cost now. Same thing with that Hogwarts thing. There was this enormous, like $800 Millennium
Yep.
Falcon,
It's
and
still the biggest set ever made.
okay,
So,
so
yeah.
obviously you're familiar with it.
Yeah,
So, and there was a shit fit that people threw because they're like, no kid can afford that. And I guess that's the weird
it's not
thing
the
of like,
point. Yeah. They
like,
have a little one that you can get for your kid. Come
well,
on, man.
that was part of it too. Was I was like, so is it that is the presumption that every kid should have access to every
Yeah.
every single like toy or anything? Is like when did that come into
Yeah,
play?
exactly. I mean, like growing up, it was like who had what toys,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
very few people that
yeah.
I knew had the same, like, exact same toys.
Right.
There was like, you know, there were a lot of things that I never had. There were a lot of things that I did have that other people didn't have.
Hmm.
So, like, we had a lot of Playmobil. Nobody else had that. So those are those weird
That's
German
the shit
toys.
that you had to import, isn't it?
Yeah, it was weird German shit.
Yeah.
So, but then when we had Legos, and we had what were they called? I can't remember.
What'd you do with them?
They were little things that you snap together.
Constructs.
No,
You also had some of those.
we had, yeah, but those weren't.
Those weird like Ogamiggle things.
Yeah, no, they were metal.
Oh, like a
So
Rector set?
yes, an
Oh,
erector set.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I had a couple of erector sets. There we go. But there were other things that we never had. Like we never had like a Power Wheels. We didn't have shit for GI
Oh,
Joes.
right.
Yeah, we didn't have any of the He-Man stuff except for my brother did have Skeletor's Castle.
But Snake Mountain or something.
Snake Mountain with a fucking glove that
Yeah.
was a snake face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which we kept way longer than we kept the castle. So,
Why wouldn't you? I mean, again, that's the
you know,
it's genius.
it
right
was
there.
genius. Yeah. So. But you know, like, and then there were like a bunch of games that we had that nobody else had. But then all of you guys had games that we didn't have.
Right.
So like Greg had tons of fucking games that we didn't have. So he was the first guy to get access and Allies.
Yes, he
So
was.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, the idea that every kid needs every fucking toy is I mean, I don't know, man. That's just this. I've never seen this theme lately
Yeah.
about you being entitled to whatever the fuck you so and not have to do anything for it. But anyway,
Well, I mean, you're so now the problem here is what I can't roll it back and have any sort of accurate look at things and say like, is this exactly how my parents felt? Looking at the kids, it was like, um, I can recite in my sleep uh, what my mother would say about it when she talked about what she had as a kid,
oh, yeah.
and she had quote unquote rocks and rubber bands, um, and that I don't doubt.
Yeah.
This is hey guys, this is what communism does. Never makes things better for anyone, but the I know that there was a take of this, and I'm sure that my grandparents would have had a different perspective
Sure.
too. And to be fair, I will say this about having the unique opportunity to go up with again, these are like 15. I think they were 15. Your daughter's 15.
She's almost 15.
Almost
Yeah.
15. Okay, so these are like 15-year-old boys, right? So it was a unique opportunity to basically squeeze these guys for like,
Take them down.
well, yeah, well, a lot of it was
So what do you guys do for fun now?
well, all right. So first and foremost, for them, it is they have two places to go. It's either their houses,
Okay.
right, to each other's houses, or nowhere. There's no
Don't they have a rec center? They have that big rec center there.
no hang out at the rec center.
Oh, okay.
They
That's
don't
for old people.
like. I'm looking around that place. I'm like, if I lived out here, I can tell you where I would have hung out with the guys, and that would have been at the Dunkin' Donuts because that's the
Okay.
well. So it's a place where you would get coffee.
Right.
It's a place where you could actually meet other people if they wanted to come out there, and you'd hang out.
Neutral ground.
And if people wanted to pop in, and look, so I'll just throw it out here like this: it's just um, the entire Massachusetts adjacent area is this is what you do. That's your hangout.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Fine.
That's why they have one on every street corner. But like this is where I would have hung out if I were a kid, and we would have walked over there. It's a little bit of a hike, or again, if for whatever draconian reasons, we've decided that kids just will not be allowed driving freedom whatsoever until they are able to be drafted by Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
We would have driven over there or ridden our bikes there or something.
Yeah. You're
right?
right.
It was like that would have been the hangout. But I was like, all right, so let me front you this question, guys. I'm like, all right, so when Will talked about just the open channel, people come and go. You game with people, you game on your own. Sometimes you game with one person, but there's always the channel's always open. I was like, all right, so um, what what game has your most hours logged?
Okay.
Now, for you, what game has your most hours logged?
Ooh, it's going to be pretty close between Skylines 1
Mm-hmm.
or Transport Fever.
And what are the numbers?
Oh, easily six, 700.
Okay.
So,
Now, here's the thing: is I was frequently getting 1,000 to 2,000 hour
yeah,
answers.
that doesn't surprise me. So, that doesn't surprise me at all. But what games are they playing?
So here was the thing: was they were some games I knew, but they were also like when they tell me like that they'd have 300 hours logged into a version of a crappy Roblox game,
No.
right? Or only one kid in that car, right? So my nephew's game, his most logged was Celeste. I get it. I played it. I did not play it to the extent that he did, to where it was get all of the crap, then do all of like the fan made levels. Like I can see it, and I had fun with this to a point. I finished the base game, and then the B side stuff. I'm like, fuck this. This is all. They used to. I was remembering this from back in the day. There used to be something. I was there. There were really two branches of this. The way that they went was there was a game that you could download on the internet. You'd run it through an emulator, or eventually they had like a flash version of this kind of thing, and it was called Kaizo Mario, right?
Okay.
Which the best translation is essentially asshole, right?
Okay.
And this was basically like a ROM hack where the whole purpose of this was to take all the conventions of this and kill you with everything that you did. So,
Yeah, okay.
in order to survive this, you had to do very specific things. Now, what that ultimately turned into was a game called I Want to Be the Guy, and this was basically the next evolution in everything that you've played in games, like walking by the apple's going to drop on you and kill you. You're right. It's just everything
Yeah,
is
okay.
designed to kill you. It was the first in that line of death counter games,
Yeah, okay.
right? And so the evolution of that stuff is a lot of what like my nephew was into,
Okay.
right? But only one guy um, was really interested in any of those mainline titles that you and I would know.
Like Call of Duty and stuff.
And it wasn't even that. It was I was way surprised. It was like Subnautica was one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Oh, I know that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There
I can't
was.
play that one.
Oh,
But
that's specifically not for
that
you,
game gives
right?
me the
Yeah,
fucking willies
totally
too.
fine, man. I got you there. There was I can't remember which one it was, but there was a war strategy game on that list. I was like, oh, very impressive. But yeah, most of it was just stuff that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm watching this. I'm like, this is the games industry right now.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yep.
100%. This is what
Mhm.
you guys are dealing with right now. And I will. I'll also say it this way in terms of what I was talking about with the quote unquote younger generation of boys. Um, Everything that we've talked about in terms of like when we've said they're sick of hearing it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, these young boys, as they would say on the internet, were incredibly fucking based.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I kid you not. This is kind of like I can see the things that they've been trying to weed out of you, but you boys have leaned into the
Oh yeah.
opposite. You guys have recognized that you are of different races and
Yes.
have decided to make that a go of things and embrace
That's a
that
good way to put that. Yeah.
and embrace that as a thing to make light of.
Yeah.
And I absolutely appreciate it. And so there was a part of this where I'm like, oh, well, you know, I don't know when our tribes splintered, but we do come from the same stock here. So by all means, do not feel like you need to hold your tongue. Say what you need to.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Um, so I was like, yeah, I get it. And that sense of like, I I I hate what the teachers have become in this
Teachers are terrible,
society.
Jeff. They're
Yeah.
they're 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 80% of our fucking problem. You know?
The more I
So,
lean into it, yeah,
yeah,
the
there.
more every rock I uncover is just nothing
It's
but the
what's good
nastiest
fucking
bugs.
teachers there.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So no, and I understand why that is, but also there's like, I mean, yeah, just dealing with a lot of students these days. I mean, they're so over
Over it.
over
Over
it.
it. Yeah.
They're over all the niceties and stuff. They roll their eyes when someone asks for a fucking, was like, can I get an extension on my, so I have autism, kind of
Like, I
thing.
know what you're doing.
Everybody knows what that kid is doing, man. And they're just like, fucking just do your work, man. you know?
There is,
Yeah.
yeah. There is this. I don't want to say like full blown cynicism toward the.
They're very cynical.
There was a piece of that, and there was just this. I don't want to say they decoded the matrix, but there was something to it where they're like, I get what they have to do,
Yeah.
and I understand what I have to do in order to do
Yeah.
this. So if I do this by this point, I can jerk around for a lot of
They're
time.
very good at that.
They're
Yeah.
very
They're
good at
very
that.
good at that.
I was super like I don't want to. It's
Dude,
weird
they're very good. Their bullshit detectors are really good.
through the roof.
Yeah, they're
Far more
really
in
good.
tune than
Yeah,
mine
yeah,
was.
yeah, totally. Yeah.
My idealism circuits were absolutely locked at that point.
They're fused, you know? Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. And it wasn't just that they couldn't be altered. They just had to be ripped out.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, they don't suffer from that.
No.
No. And, a lot of the shit that they get is completely undeserved. And a lot of it is like I said, it goes back to, making them do, oh, I don't know, what is it? 12 years of bullshit make work, you know. It's- and but see that like the thing is that I'm impressed with is like even my daughter, she's way more advanced than I was. So just in terms of the progression of her classes,
Oh,
so
oh,
she's hitting
okay, yeah,
concepts
yeah.
way sooner than I did. So there is some acceleration going on there in learning. But I was talking to her just like we were bullshitting in the car the other day. I was like, "Well, what classes do you got coming up?" Blah blah.
Yeah.
And so she's in this engineering thing. She's
Yeah.
really into
Yeah.
it. And so she's gonna try and get into that again. And then same thing, she wants to do auto shop, and then she's actually gonna do all honors classes again. And I was like, okay. So, and I was like, why is that? You can just do the easy math. And she's like, yeah, but I'll get bored. And I'm like, okay, fair. You know. But then I was asking her, I was
Definitely
like,
respect that, yeah.
yeah, I was like, so you want to take a foreign language? She's like, no. She's like, she took Latin last fall, I think it was,
Wow,
and she
interesting
said this
choice.
was useless. Yeah. So- and then
Let's be fair. Latin is cool,
Latin is
but it
cool.
is as masturbatory a language as you can get.
It's pretty far up there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there with ancient Greek and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, that's for people who are way too into school. So, but anyway, but then she had this other study habits kind of class, and I was like, wow, what do you mean? And she's like, what did you learn in that class? She's like, nothing.
It's insulting, isn't it?
It's insulting. And she
Yeah.
had a leadership class, and I was like, what did you learn in that? She's like, nothing. So they basically used this as labor to set up fundraisers and shit. And so-
Yeah.
and I was like, so they're wasting all kinds of your time on this stuff like this. And he's like, yeah, and they're mandatory. I was like, got it. So, and I was like, so what mandatory classes do you have this year? And lo and behold, she's got another one of these development courses, which is just, I mean, I can just see what teachers in that class are doing. So it's going to be taught by a coach or something like that. All right. So maybe, or it's going to be taught by some Karen. All right. So, who's a military spouse.
Oh, you wish.
Oh, no, totally, man. I mean, that's an absolute thing in this town. So, you know, you bring in a generalized skill set. Um, and so, or you have a psych degree or something like that, or you have a teaching degree, even worse, and then next thing you know, you get plugged into something like that.
Do not discount the number of fucking rainbow hairs that we do have in the education system.
There's a ton of them. Yeah, and okay, fine, all right. So I have some colleagues that are like that. Many of them are absolutely fine. Maybe a little eccentric, okay, but okay, whatever.
Eccentric is fine.
And that's a little bit more like of what I see. So, but the actual like crusaders and stuff, they're not in the classroom. They're in the fucking admin offices now, and that's the problem. All right, so you get these people who like fundamentally don't really like to teach. They like to preach. So, and then
Right.
those guys are the ones that wind up in fucking admin jobs. And I've seen it happen a lot over the last couple of years where, just meeting randos, and stuff like that, or rubbing elbows with some of the folks that I do in my line of work. I was like, oh, okay, that's a show. You're an administrator, huh? Yeah, so what did you teach?
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay, got it. And then just going to like parent teacher conferences and stuff like that. It's like, okay, I identified you immediately as someone who can't wait to get the fuck out of teaching math because you want that raise.
It's fine.
And you don't want to be in charge of any kids. You'd rather be in charge of the adults now. So, but you have very, 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 very limited ability to be able to be effective in the classroom. So got it. So yeah, it's a problem, man. But the funny thing is I see them on the back end when they come out of the system, and it's almost like it doesn't really matter what fucking high school you go to anymore. It's in every one of them. So everybody's fucking math traumatized. So nobody wants to do group projects or exams, So- which is fine by me because I don't like grading either of those.
That's why I don't do it.
Yeah.
If the shit, I'll just say it this way, Patrick. If the day actually ended at the school day, I'd have no problem with this.
Oh yeah, sure.
But if it's the pile of crap that you either have to stay at the building and contend with,
Oh fuck yeah.
or take home, and this is that was not for me. It wasn't dealing with the students that I had any particular problem with.
That shouldn't be the worst part of your job. Otherwise, you really do need a different job.
Well, to be fair, there are places where the students will be the most difficult part of the job.
Well, sure, if you're teaching a D11 Skitmo, I get that. So, but you're a different kind of cat if you decide to teach in a place like that.
There's that. There's kind of, well, it's sort of the slaughterhouse theory, right?
What is the slaughter?
Slaughterhouse theory is so when you go into the slaughterhouse, right? Now, here's the thing: is you can go in there as a regular person and have to kill chickens a lot.
Mm.
You will be a different person,
Right?
after 3 months.
Right.
Or did you get into the slaughterhouse because you fucking hate chickens? So
What do we do around here? Kill Nazis.
so when you go to Gitmo,
When you volunteer for it. Yeah.
it's sort of that same thing. It's like, is it going to change you, or were you there? Because
Did you go there? Do you see that posted and put in for it fucking twice? Huh?
it's like, I expect you guys to hate me. If you
Right.
don't hate me, I'm not doing my job
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so that
school's just been absolutely sissified, and it's gotten worse over the last. It's definitely gotten worse since COVID.
that's across the board. That is
Yeah.
that is. It doesn't matter what continent you were on.
Yeah.
Everything got worse after COVID.
Well, I mean, but you can say everything, and so like you can say economy or dating or whatever. But education's one of those ones that it's really fucking
particularly,
noticeable.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, and schools in general they're a little bit crazy. They attract some very very good people, and I mean I know you've worked with some in the past. I worked with some,
Oh yeah.
but then like for every absolutely stellar educator that I know, there's usually about three or four hangers on, and then like two legit turds. So the ratio is not that good. You know,
What I can't say is I can't say if the ratios that I would say the ratio is probably worse than your average workplace because there's a
Yes.
certain your average workplace has a certain amount of the standard carrot and stick things that do work and do
Mhm.
keep people psychologically in
Yeah.
line. When you sign up for this in the public system, there's a certain
Mhm.
amount of psychosis that does drive you one way or another.
Yeah, it does.
That gives you sort of a Joan of Arc kind of weird, energy beyond energy, where
It's kind of unique, but I know what you're talking
I'm not saying this happens to everybody. Again, it's the same thing where I argue that, again, having seen what at the time was the city's biggest high school and the diversity of the English department, which was huge. We could field two baseball teams um,
about.
and play against each other thereabouts.
That's pretty big.
It was almost 22 big, if not bigger. Um, but no, I'm not talking like relievers and
Right, yeah, yeah.
we didn't have enough. We didn't have much of a bullpen per
Yeah.
se. If we filled
We don't have
two
enough of
teams, yeah, very
them.
special. And we're not playing fucking 1996 rules where it's kind of like, oh, you're going to throw to this guy and that's it.
That's it, you're done. Yeah.
But the range in there of basically fucking East Coast elites and uh, from the ground up, straight up G's that were like, look, I come from the hood, but I love literature. So- and all spots in between. And, it was, I would argue the most effective people in there were sort of the dudes who had been there 20 years. It's
Mhm.
like, uh, you have this mix of care, not care.
You
Uh,
do have to have that.
yeah, there was this thing of this very much attitude of eventually it's like I cannot worry if every kid in this building uh, makes it home safe or whatever. I'm not
Um,
talking about it like that. It's like I'm not out here trying to give kids a ride home. It's not that. It's
mhm.
it's uh, we have systems in place to handle that. My
I-
business is this classroom.
yeah,
You turn in your shit or you don't. If you want to come talk to me, I will. If
I'm
your
here.
parents call me,
No
I'll
problem.
talk to them. But I am not going to seek you out and be kind of like, hey, Jerome, listen,
Mhm.
hey, just stay put just a second after us. We talk to something.
Yeah. I mean, so like, yeah, if you dial that all the way one way or the other, and I mean, I definitely know people who are all the way 100% on the care. Every student is precious,
Or
kind
the
of thing.
complete
The
indifference to
complete indifference on the other side is just as
is
dangerous.
just as
Yeah.
problematic. Yeah.
So, but like you have to find a good 60-40 mix that works for you. If you get a little bit too far one way, and so this is what I see, especially with newer teachers and stuff, they've got that 99 one,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
kind of thing of absolute give a shit, that is entirely, I mean, it's toxic because it literally it'll burn you up. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it'll do it pretty quick. And I've seen even colleagues of mine at like college level go through that. It's like, bro, you gotta ease off a little bit, man,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's a little easier in my situation because well, he's over 18.
Yeah.
I mean, legally he's an adult, and so if he doesn't do his shit, punish accordingly, and
Right.
apologize for nothing. But it's okay to actually reach out to a kid who's actually struggling a little bit too. You know,
There's that, and again,
there's nothing wrong with that. So.
yeah, and again, if you go into full 100% territory where you're kind of like, no, um, he could have gotten those black guys playing football. There is something, yeah. If you're at 100% and you don't go down to the counselor and say like, hey,
Yeah.
look, uh,
This is the third time this semester.
it's like I don't. Yeah, exactly. It's like I just understand some kids are naturally clumsy. They walk into a lot of doorknobs, right?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Not my problem.
Not my
Um,
problem. Yeah.
yeah, and then yeah, when you get that other side where it's not just this whole thing of sort of like America's destiny hinges on what I do now types, because also in part of that comes a lot of like, well, why isn't everybody else like this? Free Gaza. This is
Put a pump.
It's just like, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck
And
up.
these are the things that again,
Yeah.
that's where hanging out with my nephew and his friends, and they're like, yeah, we're extremely over this. Yes.
Oh man, I'd be curious to know how many times that actually comes up in the classroom. So
Well, here's the problem: is I know that if I were there, it would come up exactly once
yeah,
because I would raise such a fucking rant about it.
yeah,
Usually, be like, okay, so all right, I know what I know about it. Explain.
yeah, exactly. I don't know, man.
Tell me more.
I've been doing this a long time now, man. I can count on one hand how many times I've actually had a political discussion with a student. So, and I'm not even going to use all my fingers. So for that, you know?
So here's the thing: is
Yeah.
is I would, when it came up, it would be a throwaway line to basically the only thing I would do is basically hint at something I believed because I didn't feel like it was their business. I had
Yeah,
it was I always came with this like, hey, we can talk about this as much as you want when you graduate, but I don't talk about that in here. Um,
yeah,
but if they'd ask me, it's like I had a joke about this. I was like, they'd be like, well, what news do you watch? And I was like, I watch the Fox News because it's fair and balanced. They couldn't say so on the commercial.
yeah. That's actually
It's like,
true.
but yeah,
We false advertising.
I'm like,
I watch the Fox News.
it's like I'm here to fuck with you guys. That's all it is. I'm not going to get into my beliefs here because uh, number one, I have look. I'm going to say this as far as any well-meaning uh, teacher, celebrity, anything like this here, right?
Hmm.
Um, the way I've seen this here is if you
Poor
had
kid.
any sense, especially in something like this, it was like, look, um, the democratic process is uh, incredibly personal, right? The idea that anyone can dictate to you what your most important issues are is insulting,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Now, you will have these things and you'll know when these are your things, right? Because they
Mhm.
will strike a resonance with you. But if you're in a position where you can and do use any form of influence that you do have to try and put your thumb on the scale and make people believe certain things, it's like, first and foremost, you'd better be a goddamn seasoned super expert to throw this stuff out here in the first place when you have influence at stake.
Yeah,
Okay. But it comes with the caveat of you're not trying what you're trying to get people to do is bend to your
yeah.
perspective.
You're evangelizing.
Right.
So yeah, no,
And you don't have any right to do that.
no. I mean, but that does certainly doesn't stop people from doing it. You know,
Oh.
I mean, over my career, not so much my career, but like school days and stuff. I mean, it was almost annual, like whether it be in college, grad school in particular, but then even like high school, junior high. You always had that one teacher who was way into it.
Well, and that was the thing. I loved it when schools, because when we were younger,
Yeah,
you had a dude who was way one way, and you had some lady from the English department
way the other way.
way the other
You
way.
do not have that anymore, man. So if you have even an inkling of MAGA in your blood, you learn to hide it very quickly.
Oh, God's
you
sake,
know.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, there's so many statistics on there out there. It's crazy. They go
It's
around even amongst
yeah.
like your most conservative faculties and colleges are usually like your fucking engineering
It is your
guys.
hardest sciences. I've seen the
But
numbers
it's
on
also
this.
econ, but then there's a couple others too, like business schools are a little bit there. But even there, they're still like 85 to 15. I mean, it's crazy. And if
There
you
were some that were
they're 90
goddamn
to
close to
100.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you go to an education school. Coming from an education school, I can tell you this is absolutely true. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not even discussed because it's a known.
So evidently, in the English department right now,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
am the outlier.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be the outlier. So, and it's funny how your colleagues will try and suss you out on certain things too, man. So not all of them, but a couple of them will because they're looking for enemies.
Well, it was funny because yeah, like back in the day, those two would be on such opposite sides. You would come out of one person's class, usually Mrs. So and so from Connecticut or something, and she would break it down
The
to
one
you.
with the picture of JFK in her office. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yep.
And that you would break it down, and you would have kids kind of like coming out of there just and to be fair, it's like they are impressionable, so they're sort of like it's like wow, I never really thought about
Stupidly impressionable.
and there's always things we're thinking about, but there's this kind of thing where they'd be saying it's like well it's not like slavery just ended overnight. So there are impacts of this. Like that's an interesting thing. And then they'd come out of, of course, Mr. Colbarth's classroom or something like that. They'd be
Teacher.
like, what do you have to say? It's like, well, the Book of Leviticus says.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, why'd you believe him? It's like, well, he started this story of like, well, the first time I caught shrapnel in caisson,
Right, exactly. Yeah.
some dude who had just straight up like Well, let me tell you about how compassion can be weaponized against you, right? And he starts telling some story about, something like
Oh
something
yeah.
like that. And there was just there was this like crazy and sometimes he wouldn't even be in shop. Sometimes he would be
Mm-hmm.
an English teacher or something,
Something.
right? And it's just this Hemingway-esque story of kind of like well, so my friend goes to help this kid, and then he explodes. It's like, so they'll use these tools against you, et cetera, et
Right. Right.
cetera. Um, so we used to have something like that, but yeah, you keep that stuff well under wraps at this point.
You
And
keep it under wraps, or if you're going to discuss it, you do it in a almost quasi anonymous kind of
yeah,
way. Yeah, like by leaving. Like this is something that they do where I teach is you'll see certain flyers and stuff, up here from time to time, or there will
oh
be like something a little like we got a clipboard over the urinal, and sometimes it'll have a rather poignant political.
yeah. You are talking about the Charlie Brown's MAGA handshake, secret handshake club.
Kind of,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So and I mean it's much more common amongst the students than it is amongst the faculty, but um, it's damn near impossible to find anybody like that in a public school. So I mean, unless you go like charter or private or something like that, or if
you
you go
will
to an
find people.
appropriate school, yeah,
Yeah,
you'd probably
yeah.
find it there, but not in a public school. And I could just tell that just by like the things that my daughter tells me, about her classes and stuff, and then visiting her classrooms, and it's like okay. So not a red hat to be found anywhere around here. Got it. All right. So which is fine in some respects, but see, that's really unfair because when you release these people into the wild and they go into the workforce,
Yeah,
they're in for a
yeah.
rude awakening. So especially when they discovered that their boss, took time off last weekend, go beat up some protesters, so or something like that, you know because like I do have some interactions here and there with like people in the business community and stuff like that. And they're way more way more red.
I wonder why.
Ridiculously
Yeah,
more red.
yeah.
So even some of my softer friends or some of my older friends, I mean, if it comes up, oh my God, he'll tell you all about the Democrats. And how fucking permitting sank his business, or something.
I get it. I guess this is the. So I guess like think about what it's like in some of those places like where I get that a lot of the traditional things you and I just kind of went through the history of this city in a little bit and we're talking about like the little hardware stores and the little toy
Yeah,
stores they're
sure.
long gone the market doesn't support them
No.
but I mean imagine for a little bit thinking about those positions where like imagine that you're in a Seattle, that you're in a New York, or that you're in certain of these places where you're like, God, I opened this business in '75. It's or it's like this was my family's business.
Yeah.
It's it's not a bodega, but it's a one place shop. I've watched the people come and go.
Yeah.
I was there, when Dinkins ran the show. I was there
Mm.
when Giuliani violated every criminal right, but goddamn, these streets were clean.
Yep.
I was here when Bloomberg ran it like a business, and I was, and so these people can walk through this, and again, seeing some of these things like pop up from time to time, and just being able to say like on business level, it's like, look, I get it. I want to be nice to everybody too, but I run a goddamn business.
Yeah, exactly.
And every time this happens, like they say the same shit,
Mm.
and you're just kind of like, this dude says a socialist version of the same shit, but it's the same shit.
Yeah.
And it never works out for me during these periods. It's just like Seattle is like the perfect example of this. They elected a full blown fucking socialist retard into the mayor's office,
Yeah.
and businesses are
Bolting.
getting
Yeah.
from there because her attitude was like, "Well, then you're not really Seattle people." And they said, "The fuck,
No,
I'm
fuck
not."
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
no
all right.
problem.
Pack my shit and
All
go.
right.
So
Like your most successful business in this fucking city is Ryder, and you're just kind of like, just renting U-Hauls and opening up in Idaho and all these other places, wherever it is that the refugees from. It's like fucking, we've got a sign at the door. You have to show us 2 years of voter records before you can come into Idaho, or whatever. It's like, God damn, man. It's like, you can come here, but you cannot elect the same fucking assholes that you just fled from.
yeah. No. I mean, you see some of that here, but not as much.
Up north.
Yeah, but I mean, it depends where. I mean, you're really talking about like there are nodules of it up there.
There,
More so than anything else. I mean, it's and Denver is just yeah, Denver's got problems, but Denver's going to go the same way that New York does. So eventually, because I mean, I've been reading a lot of Denver news and stuff lately, just because it's been infesting my feed,
yeah.
kind of thing. Um, the RTD is fucking broke. Their school system, the monster DPS school system, is so underwater. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like the fucking real estate market is tanking in Denver, because they just built and built and built all these 501s and apartments and stuff like that all over downtown. But there ain't no fucking jobs. Yeah. I mean, they're all down in the tech center. They're on the I-25 corridor and stuff like that. And then if you look at it, the people with like a little bit of cashola, they abscond to like Highlands Ranch, or something like that, where Lauren Boebert is your fucking is your fucking representative.
Insanity.
I know it's insane. But then I mean, you kind of look at it and it's just like, all right, so Denver's a pretty tough town, man. I know a lot of people from Denver. A lot of people that live there a long, long time, stuff like that. Eventually, they get pissed off, and they'll flip it back over. But the fact that you're going to have a congresswoman from there who's basically about as anti-American as you can get, at least in what she says. I don't know. She doesn't have a voting record, so I can't take a look at that.
It's all you have to go off of, though.
It's all I have to go off.
This is,
that's right. If you
look,
put it on your profile, then I guess that's what I'm going to have to go off of.
hey, man, look, this is the thing is if you show me a picture of corn muffin Oreos right on the package,
yeah,
hey,
I'm going to assume that's what it is.
there may be something in there. You're like, wow, these are flaming hot. You really should have said so. But I mean, it's as of right now.
Kick to him.
Right. I mean, I guess the most deceptive packaging that you could argue as far as like really not knowing what you're gonna get is basically like whatever was on the Fetterman tin when you initially voted for him.
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
he, I don't know what it was. I don't know. So I guess he must have like met the elder gods when he had his stroke or something.
I've been sent back. So my task is done.
Is that it? Is he a fucking Maya or something like that? Yeah, whatever happened to him, man, he came out a different man. He's just so.
Dude, I love listening to that guy. I mean, yeah, so like I don't know how much he actually changed, but I think he's a good goalpost to actually take a look at how much that party has moved over the last 6, 7 years.
Yeah,
You know, and I mean, so like I catch him on a. I don't think he does his own podcast, but he shows up on a couple every now and
he
then.
does. He actually shows up on multiple networks, and that's like what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. But like him and the whole thing that changed him was October 7th. Where all of
Yeah,
his fucking colleagues all of a sudden, oh yeah, yeah. It's like, wait a minute, what do you mean?
had it
What do you
coming.
mean they had it coming? Yeah, exactly. So what do you mean you can't
You,
fight
yeah,
back? Yeah.
yeah.
So kind of thing. But that was interesting. I saw this interesting thing. Was a whole bunch of polling that was done on like just not like election stuff, but just like values polling is in
Oh,
general. Like Pew
yeah.
or somebody does it once a year and it comes out, and they were asking all these interesting questions about things like Israel and socialism and stuff like that. All those people are on the absolute wrong side of this issue, man. I mean, like the Israel thing was like 80 to 20, and then like how many of you actually support Hamas? It was like 8% of you, and then there was another one that was like they were talking about like healthcare and the economy, and yes, it was the economy again, the economy these days, you
You
know.
can't miss it now,
But
can
see,
you?
that's
Yeah,
hilarious because they
yeah.
actually showed that like the data for the last like 8 years, it's always been people think the economy sucks. It's not a variable; it's a constant. So, but the other one that was really interesting, I was like, how many of you are happy with your health care?
Oh,
And it was like 80%. They're like, yeah,
really?
no, I'm happy with it. Yeah.
So, well, this was okay. So, did they ask the two-part question on that, where it was how do you perceive healthcare versus how does your healthcare work for you?
I no, it was more along the lines of overall, are you happy with your health? Are you satisfied with your healthcare service? And
Okay,
that one was like 80%. And then the next question they asked was like, okay, if you have a plan, how happy are you with your plan? And that one went down a little bit, but it was still like 68% people said, yeah, no, my plan's great.
you
So
know what I'm talking
that's
about?
weird, man.
Where if they ask people what they think about healthcare, they'll say
Yeah.
it's 1 out of 10 would not recommend.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The idea of it, basically
Yeah. Yeah.
the whole thing of like it's sort of that Europore thing where
Very much so. Yeah.
the mentality that's been piped into you
Right.
is sort of like, what do you think of American healthcare? And like they blink and they see like one-legged children on crutches,
Yeah.
right? And there's like this like fat doctor who's like fanning himself with money in front of this kid, and the kid is just kind of like, I'd like to be healthy, and
Yeah.
he's kind of like, but you
Help me
must
pop
pay,
over.
right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, versus like you just it's so how does this work? It's like, well, you have this shitty plan,
Mhm.
right? That costs you too much, and I get it. But when do you want to see a doctor? Tuesday. They don't have a Tuesday. They got a Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
It's like then I guess I go Wednesday morning. Whereas you pay into that shitty program with
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah.
You say, I'd like to see a doctor in the UK. Uh, when do you have an opening? It's like, well, we don't have a Tuesday. We have a December.
It's December
Oh,
28.
28. And because of where they live, they're like, they see this as,
Yeah.
boy, I need help, and the state helped me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Versus, well, this system over
Yeah.
here, it's just kind of like, well, I guess I'll die,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Well, that was interesting. They were actually asking, like questions about Medicare for all and things like that. It was like, would you support a system where the government paid all health insurance premiums and you were not allowed to actually purchase your own insurance? And that one was like 80% said no, leave it alone. But I think that's how they kind of worded that question.
right.
So, but then they'd flip it around and they'd ask it like the opposite: would you actually support a system where the government subsidized all insurance premiums, but you had the option to purchase additional insurance if you so chose? And that one was like it flipped. It was like, yeah, 80% of people like that. So but it's essentially asking the same thing because it's basically what they do right now.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know. And so it was kind of like, all right. So a lot of people like to bitch about healthcare, but the problem with healthcare isn't access. It isn't, it isn't the quality. It's just the cost. So,
Yeah.
but that's the whole thing is people see the cost because they see that $600, $700 premium for a family of four come out every single month, not realizing that the actual cost of that coverage is about $3,000, and your employer picked up 22 of that. You know,
So if you want to argue there's a problem with it, yes, I would say that
yeah,
there
it's
is
absolutely
something
fine.
to it that needs to be looked into. And as far as the actual solution, I think you nailed it a while ago, where it's just going to like divorce it from employers and make them compete.
I don't really agree with that anymore, but I think like the Japanese system seems to work really good, where it's like 70-30. And so the government pays
Laws.
70% of all healthcare coverages, but you have to cough up the other 30, whether it's an appendectomy or you get like a band-aid.
Well, this is the other part of the Japanese system that
Yeah.
would not be tolerable here.
What's that?
You do know that in the Japanese system,
Oh yeah, they have the scoring system, and that affects how much they charge you, doesn't
you will go
it? Right? Yeah.
to that yearly examination.
Yeah. Nobody. We wouldn't like that. That's like anti-freedom.
Yeah, this is some shit, and
Yeah.
this comes with it's like, well, yeah, that's the thing where there's this version of things where we like to have it, this and say uh, like the whole like no pre-existing conditions thing, right? Well,
Mm,
that doesn't work
it doesn't work.
in there
Yeah.
when they sit there and say like, well, so this is you, these are your behaviors,
Yeah.
and so this is where this goes,
You're
and
right.
so all of this is we're not going to say it's your fault,
But it's
it's
your
your
fault.
fault.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. That would not fly here.
Yeah,
So,
it's the same sort of shit where people again, it's that whole I understand that yes, in Japan, and again, my family can now attest to this here, right? Even in the big cities, it's like you can just go straight outside Tokyo. You
mhm,
can go into the countryside for
mhm,
a second.
mhm,
You'll see a box with produce.
mhm,
You put money in,
mhm,
you take the produce you want.
mhm.
You'll never see the person you have
Yeah,
a
no, yeah,
transaction
no,
with,
no.
right? And you will never have people come out there and like wheel their bike up and say, uh, uh, oh, this shit's is free,
Right.
right? They will never take the produce and then pry off the money box,
Right.
right? You can't have that in that society because the
No.
society won't have you.
Yeah, no, that would never work here. So, no, you're right
So
about that.
we have this mixture of like, I can't believe it's like this. Like, well, actually, yes, you do have to lock up the fucking toothpaste in these areas.
In those cities, yeah. So, which is crazy.
But there's also a thing where we don't have to do this out here because we don't have this going on,
Nope.
right? So it's that whole thing of like, well, I don't understand. How do you make these decisions unless the government tells you to lock this up or not lock it up? Well, you either do that out there or you lose your ass.
Yeah.
Or worst case scenario, this is always my favorite part is so here's the thing. It is no longer economically tenable for us to stay in this area. So we are going
Gonna
to gutter
move.
this
Yeah.
safeway
Right.
and we're going to put a sign out front that says closed due to racism, right? Because it is what it is, right? That's the
No,
thing
I
is if the
understand what you're
business
saying. Yeah.
answers that, but yeah, you can't.
You can't have a business stay open and expect to just perpetually rack up losses. So
No matter how many people tell you
no
that's
matter
the
how many
right thing
people
to
tell
do,
you that's the right thing to do, okay, then you fucking do it.
who's doing my job?
Well, I guess there's an opening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
want
not
my
theirs either.
building?
No, I mean that's one of the things a lot of people just don't realize about a business. I mean, this applies to insurance companies too. In some respects. I mean, it's got to make money. All right. If it doesn't make money, it's not a going concern, and eventually it will be a non-entity or it'll be a burden. On everybody else. This is Scam Track 101, man. You know, so, this is DPS and fucking RTD.
This is this is why rent control never
This
works.
is
If
why
you
rent
want,
control never
yeah,
works. Yeah. Now that was funny that they started moving forward on that in New York again. That was pretty quick. So, well, that guy's been in office what almost a year now, right?
Something like that.
Or
Yeah.
no, he was elected in December, so it's not December yet.
No, no, you're right. But I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, it's the same. Like I get it, and I understand that. I get that a lot of this, and I totally get it, is that it comes from certain frustrations, especially
sure.
when, again, I can't take a look at a generation of people right now who are they're feeling entirely misplaced, right?
Hmm.
Because all of these things that they thought their parents had, and again, it's not you. Here's the thing, you sort of like I don't know what you were doing. It just kind of like offhandedly when you brought up the marriage thing, and you're like, well, so people didn't buy houses unless they were married.
Yeah,
You're sitting there right now, like fucking
that's a finger and a lot of eyes, man. You know.
like it's not just the bullseye. You Robin Hood split the bullseye arrow with that one here, and you're like, guys, this is sort of like the baseline problem,
Yeah,
and there are answers to this. There are bullshit answers to this.
there are a lot of bullshit answers.
If you want to solve this,
Yeah.
you're going to have to say some really honest things that people don't want to hear.
No, they don't want to hear that. And that was the other thing is like, so why did most people actually buy a house? Okay. It wasn't as an investment.
No,
Okay. It was because you're going to have kids.
well, because that's
And so you need multiple bedrooms and preferably two bathrooms. You're not going to find that in a flat somewhere. And so that was the whole purpose behind buying or building a house. But if you're just like, well, I want this because I want my house to appreciate, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. It's like put your money in the fucking market and rent. So come on, dude. If you're not going to actually like use it for what that's the purpose of a house it is investment, but it's also it also has utility.
right,
Unlike your
right.
fucking stock portfolio, which has no utility until you sell it. So and so yeah, now that's one that I've seen even that screamy guy, talk about that a little bit here and there. It's like, well, yeah, you shouldn't be buying a house until you're married, kind of thing, because you're gonna need, to draw on both your credit scores and pool your finances, and the mortgage isn't gonna the bank's not gonna write you a mortgage if you're not married, okay, in most cases, because what happens if one of you dies at that point in time? That now you have an estate issue with mortgage, kind of thing. And that's just how banks think about things because banks smart, so
Not in the business of
not in the
losing money.
business of losing money. Yeah. Exactly. And so, but it's the marriage thing. Well, I mean, I can't remember who said it. It was some famous economist who basically was talking about like, well, how do you actually make it ahead in life? And it was like, it's not a question of what you do, it's just order of operations. you know, it was like you go to school to either get an education or a trade. Then you get married, then you buy a house, then you have kids. If you do things in that order, so like 99% of you are going to become like financially independent, and live a great life and live the American dream, blah, 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 kind of thing. And that doesn't matter if you're born in San Francisco or fucking Bronx or, Oklahoma City. So it's always been true, regardless of how things go. The thing that I think that a lot of people get hung up on is this like June and Ward Cleaver 1950s time where there were single income households. And if you really zoom out a little bit, that kind of was a weird Goldilocks time where that existed. People assume that since that existed in 1950s, it must have been like that since like the fucking since Jesus was here, kind of thing. And that's not true, man. you know, that is a very distinct. That is like two generations of Americans who got to do that. If you
One
go
and a
back,
half.
one and a half. You go back to the 1800s and the 1900s. Well, everybody worked, including the children.
Did women work?
Oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah. So, was it paid work? Not always, but sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just like okay, so you have this like Goldilocks zone there because we had bombed the rest of the world into submission, you know.
Oh, that's correct.
So I mean, we know how to do this if we want to do it again.
We never stopped
We
studying.
never
I
stop
mean,
studying.
that's
Yeah,
that's yeah, that's part of it. Well, and again, yeah, this is touching on again if the root cause of this, because yeah, you're talking about it's that same thing about well, $1 starts here and it goes here and it goes
Right.
here, it goes here. So it's not just $1. So if you get down to that same thing of like, okay, so if marriage is this low, right?
Right.
What are the knock-on effects that happen from every
Yeah.
step on everything on out here, right? And you're looking at people who are trying to economically solve things that all stem from that same issue. And it's again like, here's the problem is that yes, you say like, well, what's the solution to this? It's like, well, I can tell you what it's not.
Yeah.
I can point at you and I can say like, all right, so what doesn't work is your government can't come in here and say like, all right, well, so we're going to give you some incentives, some financial incentives to
Yeah.
do this because people are trying it and it doesn't work.
No.
It's not working at all. So what is the fundamental root of this? Well, there's no one singular answer to it, but there's a couple of really big things that people are looking at. Is number one, um, yeah, it's a social issue. Okay,
Yeah.
first and foremost here,
It is almost more of a cultural issue.
well, that's sort of what I'm talking. I wrap those two things together,
Okay.
and I'm not sitting here to say like uh, marriage is something that needs to be romanticized or anything like that, but it doesn't need to be vilified. You
No, there is a lot of that going on.
There's a
There's a
ton of
lot of
that
that
going
going
on
on.
here. This is basically like if you're talking about if I'm going to sit there and just say like, well, is there any one particular place where the cockroaches stem from? I'm not saying it's the only cause, but this is part of it.
I think, yeah, I think you're onto that, but I think that there's another piece behind that that actually drives a bit more of that. That's a shitload of people just don't want kids. So,
Well,
because you've
again,
been told that,
yes,
kids are fucking expensive, they're noisy, they're dirty, whatever. Okay, stuff they fuck up your shit,
yeah,
whatever.
they stop you
Okay.
from doing the things you want
They
to do.
stop you from doing the things that you want to do. They get in the way, they'll interfere with your career and blah blah blah, and all
Right.
this different stuff like that. And that's been a narrative for like 40 years now, man.
Well,
Because I
if you're
remember
asking,
even when I
yeah,
was a kid, people were like, "Oh my god, they have 8 kids. How the fuck do they afford those?" Kind of thing. And it's like, actually, kids don't eat that much, until
they
they
eat
get
what you give them.
they eat what you give them, and then eventually they become a little bit self-sustaining, you know. But it's the whole idea is like, I mean, it's lame from like perspective is like, well, I don't want to lose my butt, so
That's
yeah,
right.
all the
So
way up to like, well, like you see this with guys too in some respects. It's like, well, I don't want one unless I can have a boy, kind of thing. And it's like,
right,
all right, man, well, you take your chances, kid, kind of thing. But a lot of it is, like, so marriage doesn't matter as much if you're not going to have kids. So,
right.
so I think there's like another order of operations thing here that's going on. But you were talking about something else about that I was just thinking about right there regarding this is like, so if people are fucking up this to do list, and they buy the house first, this actually makes more sense now that I think about it. If you buy your house in the 20s, it is hard to move for years,
Right.
and so
Yeah.
that might be some of the
Yeah.
reluctance there too. Is like, well, like, okay, so I want to get married, but none of the chicks around here like me. So, well, so maybe you should go somewhere else, kind of thing. Well, I go with this fucking mortgage, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Well, let me put it to you this way. All right, they have a couple houses downtown, where the girls hang out.
Do they?
Well, they do. They're in a row and they all cost $1 million fucking dollars a piece. So I don't think you own one of
Yeah,
those,
you don't.
right? So if you bought a house, okay, listen, I ain't gonna meet any single girls in this neighborhood.
No, you're not. Yeah, no.
You go to the suburbs because you're tired of that shit.
You go to the suburbs because you have kids and you want a fence and a dog.
That's correct. Because as we've stated many times, mercenaries go where the
Yeah,
money
that's
is.
true. Yeah.
And so if you move to the suburbs and you're like, I don't get it. Why can't I meet girls? Because you don't meet girls in the fucking
You don't meet other
suburbs.
girls in the fucking suburbs. I mean, your local dive bar is going to be full of like hairy 55-year-old men who are just going to bitch about retirement and Democrats. You're not going to find any hot women there.
That's correct. That's why the order of operations exists. That's
Yeah.
why, again, it's the same thing. When you ask people, this is the places like, well, where did you meet your wife? It's going to be one of two places:
College.
at school,
Yeah, it's
or
cool.
at work.
Or at work. Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of the thing here. And if you're
That's why a lot of the young kids want to actually go to work. So
Of course.
yeah, because
Of
they got
course.
robbed out of the school experience thanks to COVID. Yeah.
That's why the dudes that I just, went to, took up to Waterworld, right? How do you get 1,500 hours in some bullshit Roblox game?
Oh yeah,
COVID.
COVID.
And
Yeah.
they were very clear about it. They said like, "Oh, there's a COVID bump like this." It's
Oh
like,
okay.
and on top of that, this is my, my nephew. It's kind of like, oh well, my retard mother wouldn't let me actually socialize with other human beings because there was this disease that affected no one my age,
Right.
but we couldn't socialize. Um, but I mean, this is sort of like, and again, there you I'm not going to put the entire thing on third wave feminism, but these are all the things that this preaches. It's basically like that concept
Yeah.
of all the problems that you're talking about, right, have come from this extremely combative attitude, right? And this is the concern here is all right. So again, yeah, like you talked about. So if the order of operations is fucked up, let's talk about. I'm not just talking about incentives. It's what you would have witnessed from your parents, right?
Sure.
So if in your parents' relationship, and again, I can look at the numbers, I can say, well, this bullshit wiped out my father, and he had nothing to gain from
Oh
this,
yeah.
right? This is the kind of stuff where you looked at it as like, do you learn more from the shit you heard or from the shit that you witnessed? And if you witnessed, like, well, that's my dad getting carved up. This is my mom,
Yeah.
okay, telling my daughter or my sister to say a whole bunch of shit in court that didn't happen, right?
Oh right.
Where you go to it and say, like, all right, how exactly can you have, and I'm just going to point it out, this is the number, okay? 70% of all divorces are initiated by women, okay?
Oh yeah.
It is what it is,
Yep.
right? So how are you going to have a system where you say, like, wait, we have a system where regardless of who's responsible,
Hmm.
right, it goes to a no fault judgment, right? Where you watch a dude get carved in half
Hmm.
or worse,
Yeah.
right, over some shit that he didn't do,
Yeah.
right? This is what I'm talking about. Is like, so from
I that is so situationally dependent though.
what are you talking about?
Yeah. I coming from like knowing what I do based upon like my wife,
Oh, yeah,
doing divorces for several
yeah, yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Now this is here. A lot of it is state by state, so remember that
yeah, I get that. I don't know if Colorado's a no fault state or
they're not
not.
they're
Okay.
not a default no fault state. You can
Yeah.
have a no fault divorce.
Yeah, but you can still fight it, like
Yes.
regardless of what it is. So, like, I was asking her this a while ago. I can't remember the context behind it, but she told me that it's completely dependent upon, like, A, the length of the marriage, B, the earnings disparity between the two, and C, like, and then comes any kind of like extenuating story. Oh, he cheated on me or something like that, or oh, I'm sorry, he got fat and I don't want to, be, married to him anymore, kind of things. But like, so I was asking her, it's like, all right, so if I get married to, say, like I'm a wealthy guy and I've got, millions of dollars in the bank, blah, 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 and I get married to someone and we're together 2 years and she hits me with a no fault divorce at that point in time, is she going to get half my money? And she said, absolutely not. So, she said, absolutely not. She's like, as a divorce attorney, if you hired me, I would absolutely be able to fight that one, no problem. So,
Right, but to fight that one,
you
and
have to fight it.
that's what I'm talking
You
about.
have to fight it.
This is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about here.
Yeah, no.
Right.
If you decide, oh, I'm just going to sign the fucking papers, okay, fine, you get what you get, But you've got to protect yourself, man.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
you've got to protect yourself.
This is where, just like you said, I got to fight this thing.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And so there's that component of number one, you're chopping up your resources here fighting it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Big. Now, a lot of that is going to be what's the short term losses versus the long term gains. Hey, dude.
that's exactly how you have to. It's like getting in a car wreck, dude. You got to decide, like, okay, were those premiums worth it?
And that's exactly what I'm
Yeah.
talking about here. Is this is the sort of stuff where, again, if you've been in those experiences where, again, yes, your wife is, and again, there's so many stories of this, of like your wife is, she had the kids make up allegations
Oh
or
yeah,
people
yeah.
testify to some shit that was bullshit. It's like, I saw him being inappropriate. It's like,
Fight it. You got to fight it, man.
but that's what I'm talking
You got to
about,
fight it.
right?
So
And that's what I'm saying is if you're a person that grew up in this shit
yeah,
and you're like, so first and foremost, like you said, if you don't want kids, there is no financial advantage to getting in a marriage,
Not really.
right?
I mean,
No,
you might want to just for funsies, but
but
that's
that's the
fine.
thing.
Yeah.
You'd have to want to. You'd have to actually go against what's sort of being pressed as the social norm to
Mhm.
do that,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
To say that
Yeah.
you want to be traditional on this one here, right? And so there's the thing where if you want
Well,
to,
there's a spiritual component to it too. Some people feel obligated to do
if
that.
you're
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
that,
right, right.
right?
Yeah.
And also that there's less uh, religious aspect to this than there was, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to get that, but yeah, that's sort of the trouble here is if you're going to look at this and you're going to say like, okay, so the things that also that apply to like declining birth rates, you're looking at the things that say, all right, what are the things that tie into this, and you have to confront those things and say you have to be able to look at this and either look at it from a purely logistical standpoint and say like, all right, either it's a not for fair or we have to re-examine the moral aspect of this. Now the second part is extremely difficult
Yeah,
because that's not what we're built on. That's not what our
that's not what we
society
do
is.
in this country. No.
No.
We come to those conclusions after many, many generations, of duking it out on Twitter.
Or you have insular pockets that believe what they believe.
Right.
But as far as the government making the moral decision
Yeah.
and saying, so, all right, again, this is the part of communism that people have no fucking clue about. It's
Mhm.
like, all right, so do you know how much infidelity there was in the Soviet Union?
Oh, I have no idea.
Virtually none.
Why?
Well, because the state did not believe in infidelity,
Okay.
and they had a very distinctive punishment for this. If you were caught,
Did they castrate you?
no,
Oh, that would have been
this
good.
that would have been overt. That's the kind of thing that
Yeah,
makes you actually, knife yourself right for
yeah,
this.
yeah.
What they do is they revoke your party membership.
Oh, so you'd lose your job.
You lose your job.
Yeah,
You lose your ability to basically participate in society,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's just right. The party says we don't agree with this.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a whole bunch of polyamorous losers sitting there like with hammer and sickle tattoos, right? Like you don't exist there because if somebody finds out, you lose everything,
Yeah, they don't care about that.
right? And this is the kind of shit that I'm talking about. Is the government's place is not to jump in and say like from a moral standpoint,
Mm.
this is messed up. However, from a standpoint of we've really tilted this too far one direction,
Mhm.
because I'm of the opinion that this is something I got in a fucking AI argument with here, where it's like, I'm of the opinion that every child upon birth should be DNA tested, right? Because as it stands, here's the component of it that's fucked up is as a guy, you don't have to, but you're supposed to sign the birth certificate on birth,
Yeah,
right? So if you do, congratulations, you just accepted ownership for this kid.
yeah. I'm sure 99.9% of fathers would be fine with
Well, so here's
that.
the
Yeah.
problem: is what happens when you find out it's not?
Well, then you got to get a lawyer.
Doesn't
Let's
matter.
go fight.
So the
Yeah.
the legal setup there is you have at that moment accepted ownership of that kid,
Mhm.
regardless of its DNA status.
Yeah.
You can, okay, and it's the expectation from there on out is that's still your financial burden from here on out.
Until they're 18. Yeah.
Correct. Correct. And that's the thing is there is no version of this where
Mhm.
that should be the case. No version of this. You can sit there and argue and say it's invasive. Don't fucking care because they're taking the baby's blood at the time. Just run it through the machine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They're doing it. They automatically take the blood of the thing. The other component of this here is, yeah, if you find out, you should not be in any place where this is your financial burden.
What if you're married to that lady?
As far as I'm concerned, that is basically grounds for like immediate divorce if you want it.
Immediately, you get an auto divorce.
And basically on your terms.
Yeah.
This is essentially it's not a look. I don't believe in the faultless divorce unless two parties agree to it. I don't agree
Yeah,
to
I
that
don't
in
really
any
know how it
sense.
works. So, I mean, yeah, I can ask. So, I don't know.
So when I looked into it, it's very state to state.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So,
I mean, that's true with like all kinds of different realms of law. Like estate law is different from state to state.
boy, howdy
Yeah,
it
boy,
is. When
howdy it
I
is.
looked
Yeah,
into telling mom about what happens in Oregon
completely
versus
different. Yeah,
completely different versus Colorado, that kind
yeah,
of stuff like that. But yeah, that's the kind of thing where you cannot, as far as fairness, this is the kind of stuff where, yeah, you should have these expectations in marriage. These things are going to warrant penalties. These are the things where, look, if that's how it goes, if you do this, this is not something where a dude has to fight this kind of shit because that should be basically on his side.
yeah. Well, the state doesn't really involve itself in determining fairness in civil matters. So, I mean, I can go down and buy like if I see a sign in a window and the guy's selling a Ferrari for $1, and I go in there and buy it. Okay, he can't, go to the state and say, "Oh, that's not fair" later,
Well, that's not
because
entirely true because otherwise we wouldn't have individual state laws on divorce.
well, I don't know. So why not? I mean, every state would set that up how they want to,
Yeah, say for
and
example,
I'm
like
sure it's actually the lawyers who set that shit up. So I mean, because I like, dude, anything that has anything to do with the courts and how like laws are actually, boundaries that are placed on judges. Fuck, dude, your bar association is the one who actually decides all that shit.
fair
So,
enough.
yeah.
So I will say that the DNA testing, I think, don't quote me on this here, but I think that Oklahoma may have implemented.
Okay.
But this is what I'm talking about. Yes, they do preside over some of that here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be different.
I don't know that. I have no clue as to why it's different. So I'm not going to try and induce that.
So let me put it this way. Okay, as far as the I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill part of this of how that becomes law, I can't tell you.
I don't know.
That I was the I know someone, the same someone that you know, that does know in this state, right? She'll probably know exactly how those changes come into place and
Oh,
from
maybe
what
if
direction.
she gives a shit.
Well, she could be like my brother. It's like doesn't do nothing to me. I just need to know where they come from,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
right? So I got you there,
Yeah, I don't know.
but I can just point it out here and say like, all right. So number one, if you want some of this, you have to basically stop punishing men for getting married.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, some of that, like, I don't know, man. I think the law is downstream from culture on that one, more so than anything else. Like, and, so some of it's a fucking marketing problem, just like work.
You're right. Okay,
So
so
some of it's just fucking like work has a marketing problem. It has an image problem. Everybody thinks work fucking sucks, and it's something that you have to do, and it's not something you prefer to do. Blah blah blah. And it has not. You never see this stuff on the flip side of it. It says actually, having a job and especially a special job that you really enjoy is actually one of the three most fulfilling things you could do in your fucking life. you know, and nobody really talks about that. It's all I have to be there on Mondays kind of thing. So it's got, and
yeah.
marriage kind of has the same thing because you see all kinds of stuff. Oh, the old ball and chain, yada yada yada. And
So
stuff like that.
that's antiquated.
I know that's antiquated, man, but it's still kind of there. But now it's the whole freedom thing. It's like, well, why would you tack yourself down? You're limiting your own potential. Blah blah blah.
Well,
And it's like, okay, that might be true. All right. So, but like there are a lot of upsides to it as well. I mean, that you just don't really see that many people talking about anymore.
so
So,
let me. Okay,
because honestly,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
get satisfied with something like that, you don't go around and tell everybody how cool it is. Because then, it's just like, well, why would I need to do that? I'm good.
Well, okay. So here, I'm going to frame it this way. Okay, and this was an AI thing, but it had to do with my language lessons. Okay,
Sure.
now and this will make sense in a moment, but um, there was a specific language usage issue when it came to um, what verbs you could attach to. So I'll give you the English analog on
Okay.
this. Okay. So if I were to say, uh, let's eat versus let's go eat,
Okay.
what would be the distinction in meaning difference between hearing those two things about assuming about what we're doing
We're going to go out to eat
with the second one?
with the second one.
Okay. So here's the thing is in Japanese, there was a part of this here where it was talking about a place, and essentially the construction was, for one, it was he would go look at
Okay.
this thing, and you would use that construction because the idea is they're like it's two separate but combined actions,
Okay. Right.
right?
Yeah.
But you can't have one without the other.
Okay.
So on the flip side, so this is when I then asked Google Gemini, I said like, okay, so instead of go see, could I also use it would be like the te form and then tabero to eat? And said no.
Why not?
Here was the thing. That's where it came in with this rock hard, grammar construction. It said you can't do that. Like, why? Why? I was like,
Shoots you.
well, this was the thing. It's being so rigid on this.
Mhm.
It's like, well, from an American, I'm not fighting with you. I'm not trying to do this here. But what I'm trying to get the point is in English, we have this distinction
Mhm.
to draw the same place, right? Are you saying me that there's no version of this where people don't know? Eat means here, go eat means
Oh, out.
out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
right? Are you saying that that distinction does not exist, right? And it's arguing with me in circles about this very rigid thing,
Yeah.
right? Now, I stopped for a moment. I said, wait a minute. Wait just a goddamn minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I broke it down for you right you and I said, if I threw something at you from AAVE right now, would you fight me tooth and nail about the correct application of the language?
AAV. I don't even know what that is.
African American Vernacular English.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
I don't know. I guess it depends on what it was.
well, here's the thing: is if I threw up a sentence and I said, "You can't say I finna have eat," right?
I don't think
Would
that's how you say that, but yeah.
no, you
I
can.
thought it was I finna eat. Yeah.
You here's the thing: it's wrong no matter how you
Yeah,
slice
no,
it,
no, no, I got you. So,
right?
yeah.
I finna eat. I finna had ate.
I finna had eat. Yeah,
Had ate.
had
Right?
yeah.
I said, if I threw one of these things at you, would you dare stop me and say this is incorrect because it doesn't meet the congruencies of the language?
Yeah.
And it stopped on a dime and said, I would not.
Yeah, yeah.
I would not. And this is
So
this.
why was it fighting in you in Japanese so hard? What's the deal?
That's my issue, Patrick. Here
Oh.
is so when it comes to things that we have in this society,
Mhm.
okay, and this is my problem with this is like it's not that this doesn't exist; it's that you view that exact same problem as
Mhm.
unsophisticated in American Southern, which is the same branch. They come from the same place,
Yeah, okay.
right? So my whole problem with this here, this is sort of the American problem I have, is there is this aspect of certain aspects of life
Mhm.
which 99% of society would view as basically intolerable. I don't find that acceptable. This is not how people should act or speak.
Mhm.
There is this thing of like, but you can't touch it. You have to accept it as just as good as any other aspect of life, right? And there's this thing where if you have to tap dance around other things and say, like, well, you know what? Polyamory is just as normal as any other traditional. I was like, got it. Okay, okay. Oh, I see. I see. Okay, okay.
Just as normal, yeah. I've been tried a million
That's
years.
what I'm driving at here is for some
It's in the Bible.
societies, right, bad shit always
Bad
happens,
shit always happens.
right?
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about is there are certain things where if I dig into it in Japanese, you're like, oh, fuck no. That's not how the language works,
Yeah,
dickhead,
yeah.
right? But if I jump in here and say, like, this is nothing, this is fucking garbage
I wonder how
language.
that's actually coded in there.
Well, I know how it's coded.
How?
Dude,
I
I
mean,
come
it's
across
just
this.
technical, but like, I mean, do they literally like build guardrails around certain topics?
Yes,
Oh, okay, all right. So
yes,
yeah, and then
yes.
so it's just like you don't get it as definitive an iteration on it when you ask it something. Oh no, it's all fine. As opposed to, no, you can't do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, all
And
right.
these things
I
are
was just kind of curious.
hard coded to be caveated when you bring them up. Even if you,
Yeah, but hard coding them in that way, that does what? I mean, like they're not going to dictate line by line what it actually fucking says. So, what does it mean? It means that you can't use like certain adjectives or something like that to describe it, or you can't. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
well, so
So,
okay, so what you'll normally see here is again, if there's a certain line of questioning or a certain topic that is being broached,
right.
right, it is hard coded to basically hit it with guardrail ways of speaking. Now,
So it just nerfs itself.
yes,
Okay.
but you can then peel it back and say, don't do that. You can say, don't do this. So you can get to a sort of a root thing as far as the root will be revealed, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, if you jump out here at front, okay, it will not give you the same response.
Right.
And I think that's exactly how this is where it is so incredibly close to humans in that same regard. Where, all right, just like I talked about,
Right.
when I went out there and I hung out with San Francisco people,
Yeah.
and the whole thing is,
You stripped you of all your nicotine.
but this,
We're not allowed to have those here.
that's part of the experience too. Is it's kind of going like I have revealed who you are,
Right, yeah.
but that's the thing is when I talk to these people, and again, when I talked to my Japanese tutor about immigration, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I talk about this like completely honestly, and I do so without a space of judgment. And what happens every time is they look like they're about to say something.
They don't want to.
They look left, they look right, then they're honest.
Yeah.
But they have this built-in sort of layer of I know what I'm expected to say,
mm-hmm.
and if there are anybody here other than you who I trust,
Yeah.
I would answer that way.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the same thing that goes with if you have a society that is running off of the assumption that what everybody believes is what they've been hard coded to say because I can tell you, your average person looks at a polyamorous relationship and says, "You're fucked."
Yeah, well, it's usually like, man, what kind of dirtbag are you? You know,
Correct.
When you look at somebody like that, it's like, well, I'm happy with one. What's your fucking problem? You know,
and that's the thing. But your actual answer is like, you're doomed because everyone that tries it,
oh yeah,
drowns themselves in the shower trying to rinse out their sinuses because they think they're the first fucking person.
This is not a new thing under the sun. So, well, and neither is watching your language around others, especially people you don't trust. And so,
Exactly.
I mean, this is all human, man. But
it is.
You know, like I would say that, okay, so now that I understand how it's hard coded a little bit better, that's what we do in the schools.
That's exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But it's not working because it's not biting on the kids. So, as you demonstrated.
To put just to accentuate this here, and this is where I was really impressed with this. Their friend, one of the 3 people that went with me the other day, was Indian.
Yeah.
Okay. So his nickname, and he accepted it.
Yeah.
His new Christian name, as they call him, right, is essentially, it's like his name is tech support. Now, I almost crashed the car.
I bet, so man, yeah.
Right? But
they dubbed him that?
They dubbed him something else worse.
Oh.
He settled on tech support.
Okay.
Right? Now, because for a second, it was like...
I wonder what they call them.
So this is what I was laughing about. I was like... And they're mentioning some of the other names of these, kids from this, area. One of them was... I would throw this to you. His name is Declan.
Declan?
Ever heard that name before?
Yeah.
Where do you know it from?
I don't know, but I've known a lot of people named that over there was like a fad of that like 25 years ago, man, because there's a bunch of people who named Declan.
Well, generally speaking, okay, so I'll say this. Declan is a very Irish name.
Is it?
Yeah.
Everybody that I've known has either been black or a cowboy.
Well,
I haven't met a single Irishman named Declan.
So I was like, oh, Declan. I was like, is he Irish? It's like, there's a very Irish name. It's like, we don't know what he is. It's like darker skin. It's like, oh, so this is your black friend, Declan, right? And again, this is the kind of stuff that it just like, is that what you call him, right? It's like they was like, we're a Mexican friend. They had a name for him. It was like, whatever. It's like these guys were so cool talking about.
Yeah, they don't care,
right?
Yeah, no, they're fine.
But I also know that if the moment came up, it wouldn't be said to anyone.
If they said something like that in class, they'd all be facing a month of fucking re-education. So, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's why people are careful about that shit, man. Yeah, they know that the consequences are not worth the effort.
But that's the point that I'm saying is if you operate on the assumption that people all believe this shit, then
Yeah.
that's where you kind of get sort of where we are today, where we're kind of struggling with this. It's like people think that this is what people actually believe about marriage. This is what people think
Oh, this is
actually
what people
believe.
think people actually believe about Gaza, but go look at the numbers. Yeah, come on. So, you know who is actually the worst on the list? They
Who?
ask people to rank, like, like positive, negative. So they do the up down where, 10% of people say, yeah, I like that guy, 90% say no, so he's got a negative 80. You see how that works?
Oh, this is interesting. Would it be someone I expect?
Maybe.
So is it about a person or
It's
is
a
it
person. These are actual people. So on the
like
list.
what they actually think about that person?
Yeah. So, well, they had all kinds of stuff on there, but I'm just stick with person because this person was actually the lowest ranked thing on the entire list, like below communism and shit like that.
Really?
Yeah, he's really bad. Who do you think it is?
Well, the obvious answer is going to be Donald Trump,
No,
but
not even close. He was only like negative 11. So yeah. So fucking AOC is less popular than he is.
that if you go on the internet,
Oh, I know. This is my point.
she's
This is
God
my
tier.
point. The internet
Uh,
is wrong. So the
okay.
internet is really wrong. Because they're just asking normie Americans. This is not fucking Twitter trolls.
Right, 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 right. Does it track logically?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Uh, Bill Belichick.
No, not even. That's pretty good. Yeah. So, but I mean, considering the sample was nationwide, you'd get a couple people from, just some massholes in there.
I figured that dude.
Bumping, yeah.
I figured if he was known, it's either plus 95 in this cluster here or minus 100 everywhere
Yeah.
else.
So the answer is Vladimir Putin. So he is negative
Okay.
70. So then he is closely followed by Hamas. Yeah. So Hamas is slightly more popular than Vladimir.
What elite company?
What an
Oh,
elite
God.
company! Oh my gosh! So, yeah. So there
Okay.
you go.
All
But
right.
he
This
was
is
actually the worst guy on the list. So
fascinating.
yeah.
Fascinating.
But, it just goes to show Americans don't like fucking bullies. So, and they might not know anything about that war, but they know who fucking started it. And now he's got his dick stuck in the trap.
I will. Okay. All right. All right. I will caveat that with I believe you're right. America does not like. They don't like bullies as a theory,
No.
but they do like certain bullies depending on if that bully is on their side and if they think they're bullying the right people.
Yeah, but it's more so along the lines of like, so there's two types of bullies out there. There's a guy who just
Right.
cruises the playground and takes your lunch money,
There
and
is
you become cool in high school later on. And then there's the guy who's just fucking mean, and nobody likes that guy
so
ever.
so yeah
The
so
guy who punches the sickly kid. You know,
right so
yeah,
take your Biff Tannen. He's a villain for a
he's
reason.
fine.
He
Yeah.
does not discriminate on who he
No,
bullies
yeah,
against.
exactly.
Nobody likes him.
Nobody likes him.
They laugh at him,
Yeah,
not with him.
yeah, yeah.
But there is a dude that you could almost call it bullying because he doesn't give a fuck who bullies the HOA.
That's fine.
And people like that guy.
That's fine. I wouldn't even call it a bully. That's more of a troll. So,
All right, I can
yeah.
take it. Yeah. All right. All right. Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Anyway, I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.